Hello, in this video I'm going to walk you through an issue that could occur on your network if you upgrade from 6.7 HGOS to 7.3, provided that there is an upstream firewall from the proxy that does not allow all of the IP addresses that are configured on the same interface on proxy. So on the screen I've got a proxy running 7.3.14.1, an interface 2.0 is my one side. In the 10.10.10/24 network, I've got these three IP addresses on the interface: 125.135 and 45. Similarly to this, here I've got proxy SG running 6745. I'm actually using the Management Center ASG admin console because I don't have the Java working on my PC. So I'm managing it through Management Center. And also here I've got interface 2.0, which is the one side on the same 10.10.10/24 network. The IP addresses are 127, 137, and 147. So the change in the behavior is that 6.7 is using the IP address that here in the web UI is in the middle. If I go to 7.3, the IP address that this proxy will use as a source is going to be this. Now this assumes of course that you don't have any special routing and so on, you don't have any reflect IP, right? This is purely just a default gateway, which is 10.10.10.254 on my network, and three IP addresses on the interface. I'm not doing anything else in the policy. So if I now jump to a health check, I've got a health check on both of the devices. Health check for Yahoo on port 443, which is this guy. Now notice that here it's just a type of TCP. On 6743 the health check is up. And if I go to 7.3.14.1, and here I've got the health check, I believe on the next page. Here the health check is health check failed, right? And even if I force it, it is still going to fail. Now going back to what I have said, so 7.3 uses the top IP, 6.7 uses the middle IP. If I now jump into my firewall, I've got a firewall rule here that denies 443 and 80 to any destination that is sourced from my two proxies. So the two that I am denying right now is 125 and 127. So let's first of all fix the 7.3. So as I said, 7.3 we know that it uses the top IP, and that one is now blocking my ASA. There's no way for me, unless I start using the reflect IP in the forwarding policy, there's no way for me to force the proxy to use any other IP. This one is currently being reset, and the proxy is not going to switch to 135. It's going to keep using this one. So to fix it, and the same applies with the timeout. If I was to add a static route for the IP of Yahoo, and there was a timeout rather than reset, which is something that I can simulate here. Oops. The result is going to be the same. So I am going to, these are, I think I've got the IP addresses on this other device here. So if I go configuration, routing, and yep, these are the two IP addresses for Yahoo. So I'm going to add them here. And I basically route them to black hole. And if I now So we are focusing on 7.3 for now. I'm going to start packet capture, and then I'm going to go and run that health check. Just this one here. Let's run it. This is going to take a long time to time out now because there's no reset from the firewall, because it's not hitting the firewall. It's actually hitting this PC that I am RDP2, and of course as a end station that doesn't have IP forwarding enabled, so it's not going to do anything with it. It's not going to respond to the SYN from the proxy with the SYNAC. So while this is timing out, it will eventually fail. I don't want to wait that long, so I will just go and look at the PCAP, stop the PCAP, download the PCAP, and let's look at the PCAP. And if I now go to endpoints, IPv4, these are all Yahoo IP addresses. How do I know that? Because if I SSH into my proxy, and I run ping, which is of course going to do DNS resolution, I will see one of the IPs. So at the moment I've got the 25. So if you have noticed what I've done with the root, I have added a root for 74.6, right? And let's just see, we see the 25 IP here, I'm pretty sure we will. And that's this guy here. And notice what the source is, 125. Okay, so either reset or timeout, the proxy is not going to sort of cycle through the IP addresses. It'll always use the top one. So what do we do to fix that? Of course, I could remove the firewall rule to fix it, right? But what I want to prove here is that the proxy always uses the top IP, and that's by changing this. So let's just, since I'm using this IP for the management, I'm going to lose the console, but that's okay. We're going to reconnect on the new IP that I give it. That's fine. So we're going to change it to 55. Okay, now that already exists on my network. So let's change it to, I don't have 45 here. Where is my cursor? Let's change it to 45 and apply. Now, notice that when you make change like this, it's actually moved the IP to the bottom of the list, and now 135 is at the top of the list. And it doesn't seem to be the value of the IP, like the lowest or the highest, that set this behavior, because of course 135 sits right in between these two, right? So I apply this, and now what we have, so if I hit save, I'm going to use the interface, of course, because that IP no longer exists. So let's just connect, I don't know, on the 145 IP address. And now if I go to the health checks and I look at Yahoo, Yahoo is still down. Now, yeah, it's still down, and that's because our root is there. So let's remove our root. We don't want it to be timing out anymore. So let's remove both of them. I've noticed in my lab that sometimes Yahoo actually resolves to the 98 range, so I added that as well. So I removed the two roots. I'm going to go back to my health check. And now Yahoo is working on some IP, and there we go, Yahoo is okay. If I now run a very quick packet capture, start the PCAP, I will force another health check on Yahoo, just so that we make sure we have it in a PCAP. There we go. We are expecting it to be the top IP. So our top IP right now is 135. Packet capture and stop this and download it. Save and open. And we yet again look at any of the Yahoo IP addresses. There's one here. And now indeed it is going from 135. If I now jump here into my firewall and I don't think I have an object for it, so I shall create a new one. 135. When I initially started testing this, I thought this is related to Reflect IP, hence why the naming convention, but again, I'm not doing any Reflect IP on the proxy whatsoever. It's just default routing. I add this, and I add that to my firewall. Okay, and apply my firewall. I'm going to minimize this, close that. If I now go to the health check, it's going to be down again because the proxy doesn't switch to any other IP. It's going to keep using the one at the top. There you go. It has failed to show you that it uses that IP. Going to start the packet capture. Go back to administration, health checks, page 2, and let's trigger it. Notice at this time the timeout won't be as long because there is no TCP timeout. There's a reset because it is being routed to my firewall. There you go. Failed. Packet capture. Stop and download. So this is packet capture number 3. And let's do the same thing again. Let's actually see if my proxy is still resolving to the same IP, or perhaps it moved to a different. I think my connection of course timeout because I changed the IP on the proxy. So I need to go again. So 135 is the IP that we are using now. And let's ping Yahoo and see what IP we get. So it's now 26. 14326. Let's bring these statistics here. And that's this guy. Notice how the proxy is trying all different IPs because we've got the same amount of packets, right? But all of them are of course going to be reset by my firewall, and the interesting thing is the source, 135, 135, 135. Always 135, which is the top IP address. So that's the behavior on 7.3.14.1. Let's now do the same here. So the routes for Yahoo are disabled here, good. If we check the interface, adapters to the 6.7 uses the one in the middle here, which again, you know, it's not down to the highest, lowest, because as you can see 137 in terms of the value, the binary value sits in the middle. It's not the highest, it's not the lowest, right? And its position happens to be in the middle. So 137, if we look at our health check is okay. Why is the health check okay? Because our firewall rule right now, it's not blocking 137. I'm going to add a block for 137 IP. Let's add it to our list of block IP addresses. Okay, apply. Okay, health check. And it looks like it's going to be, yep, it's a reset. It is failing. So again, proxy even on 6.7 did not fail over to any of the other IPs, is using the one in the middle. The same trick can be used here, of course. If you want the proxy to start using any other IP, you have to make sure that IP is in the middle here. So to do this, to trigger this behavior, we are using this for management, so I don't want to do that. Let's change this one to 167. And did that change the order? Sadly it did not. Okay, so I will have to touch this one. And let's change this one to, I don't know, 117. And now the order has changed, right? When I touched the one in the middle, it got bumped to the bottom. So the middle one right now is 167. Management Center should not lose connectivity because Management Center uses 127 IP. So we should be okay, at least I think so. Let's have a look. Is everything still working? If I go here, yeah. Okay, we're still good there because it uses 127. Okay, so let's look at the interfaces again. The IPs on the interface. 127. Now the middle one is 167. Okay, is the health check up? Yes, the health check is up. Well, let's try to block 167. At this moment, I'm assuming that it's using 167 because it's in the middle. So let's jump onto our firewall and let's add 167. Believe I don't have that either yet. So let's add it. 167. So host, so 32 mask. Okay. Did I actually add it? I don't think I clicked on it. No. Oops. Reflect. I should do it. No. Okay. Reflect 167. Filter. Add it to the list. Now it's there at the very end. Okay. Apply. Send. That's saved. And let's observe this going. Let's actually get a P-code now going. Start the packet capture. And back to administration. Health checks. And it's down. And let's just wait for it to fail. It shouldn't be too long. It's not a timer, just to reset. There we go. Packet capture. Stop and download. And let's save this and open it. And this time we are on box 127. So there's a SSH to it. 10.10.10.127. Let's do ping just to see what IP we should be looking for. Looks like this one is going to the 98 IP. Excuse me. So endpoints. And there we go. And yes, indeed, it is using the IP in the middle, 167. So, of course, this will only be an issue, as I said at the start, if your upstream firewall is not treating all of the IP addresses on the interface in the same way. And that concludes the video. Thank you.